Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a super exciting one. If you're huge fans of ColourPop like myself, then I'm sure you already know. Today is the launch date of their brand new pressed powder eyeshadows. I realized before this launch, blue is still tacky and ruining my life. Before this launch, they did release a quick, I guess, kind of sneak peek with a quad through the Amanda Steele collab. I actually haven't even played with the powder shadows yet. I did use the Super Shock shadows. They were amazing, but you guys know I'm huge fans of ColourPop. I'm obsessed with their Super Shock shadows, so I was so excited to dive into these. So I do have the single shadows. I think I might be missing one or two when I went online to compare, as well as the two pre-made shadows that they're selling in the launch. These retail for $18 a piece, so you're saving a couple of bucks. Now the actual individual shadows come in these really cute envelopes. Seems like the packaging theme is like white and silver. You have these silver little stars, and on the back you do have a little peek-through window with a name, very similar to like MAC shadows or Makeup Geek. I believe Anastasia's single shadows come in something similar. I'm not sure, I've never bought those, but these will retail for $5 a piece. And then I believe I read online that if you bought 4 of the single shadows, then they toss in a palette for free, which is really nice. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and start things off with the palette, actually the high maintenance one. I'm holding the low key high maintenance one because I do have that on my eyes right now. So if you're curious to see how these shadows perform and see a quick little tutorial, I will have that inserted here at the end. Now my only complaint with the palettes is if you buy these pre-made palettes, you really either want to keep the sleeve or like attach stickers or something onto the back of the pan showing the name, because the only place where the actual shadow names are written is on the back of the sleeve. Unlike the individual shadows, when you buy these, there is a sticker with a name. However, the pans in here are just like a plain silver backing, so that's kind of weird. So like I said, either just keep the sleeve or write down the names. Now if you guys are curious size wise, the pan size is identical to a Makeup Geek shadow. The only thing is the Makeup Geek does get 1.8 grams, whereas the ColourPop shadows are 1 gram. So the actual palette is just a white cardboard palette. I do like the fact that there's a window. If you make more palettes yourself, if you're storing them in a drawer flat-wise, you can see the shadows through the little window. So then on the side, there's like a purple, or I guess like plum metallic tone. You open it and it says "Made You Look," which I thought was so cute. So in the high maintenance palette, if it's going in the same direction, we have the shade Just in Time, High Strung, Get Out, and Cute Alert. These all 4 of these shadows on my eyes today, as well as 2 other single shadows. So let's go ahead and get into swatches. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom you guys in. The first shadow we'll be swatching is called Just in Time, and this is just a really nice metallic soft gold. Ooh, that's super nice. This would make a really good all over lid color or an inner corner shade. The next color is High Strung. This is just a super rich metallic rose gold shade. I have this all over my lid right now. So buttery, super pigmented. I love it. Here's our first matte shade. This one is called Get Out, and it's just a matte, cool cranberry. Sometimes I feel like matte shades don't swatch as nicely, but I can already tell you that this one applied beautifully on the eyes. Fourth and final shade in the high maintenance palette is called Cute Alert. This is another matte, and it's just a deep burgundy. Next up is the low key palette. I'm already crusty and got this one dirty. Packaging is exactly the same. If you're into warm tones, this palette is going to be for you. The first shadow in this palette is called Take It Slow, and it's described as a metallic warm champagne. To the touch, these are super creamy. Let's swatch this guy. Ooh, that's really nice. The next shade is called IOU, and this is described as a matte mid-tone orange. This one kind of reminds me of like Makeup Geek Peaches and Cream and Chickadee, like in that same shade family. Ooh, that one swatched nicely. It's kind of like an orange sherbet color. That is so pretty and completely slanted. My bad, but you get the point. The third shade in the palette is called Running Late, and this is another orange, just kind of like a matte creamy orange, a little bit deeper than the last one. Also, do not mind my arm. I self-tanned and some water ran down, so that's what's going on there with my blotchy arm. Oh yeah, there's definitely a difference. In the pan, this one only looks slightly deeper, but swatched, this is definitely more of like a coral orange, whereas this is like a true, I think orange sherbet is the best way to describe it. The final shade in the low key palette is called Crisscross, and this is just a matte brick orange. If the formula of this one is like the others, I think I'm going to love it, just because I love really like vibrant reddish oranges like this. Oh yes, please. This entire palette is beautiful, especially if you went in with like a gold lid color. Like this is still really pretty as champagne, but I think if you went in with like a super saturated metallic gold with these 3 matte shadows, that look would be incredible. Moving on to the single shadows, this one here is called Hear Me Out. It's described as a matte white peach. They gave some really good brow bone shades in here. So let's go ahead and swatch this guy. In fact, this is what I have on my brow bone right now. It doesn't swatch like anything too special, but this is another shadow where on your eyes it performs way better. I need to go back in and do a better job of wiping those off. But here is Hear Me Out. So if you're more into like a bone shade brow bone color, this one would be perfect for you. The next shadow is called Locked and Loaded. So if the last one was a little bit too like white for you, this one has more of a yellow undertone to it. There we go. My wrists look so dirty because of this self tanner. The next shadow is called Firefly. It's another matte. Go ahead and swatch this guy. This is confusing because I'm like looking in the viewfinder and my computer screen. That one doesn't swatch that well, but don't judge a book by its cover because like I said, some of those deep burgundies that swatched a bit patchy, those went on really nicely, but this one I'm not sure because I haven't used it on my eyes. Next up we have the color You Know the Drill. This one just looks like a super intense metallic kind of light bronze shade. I did go ahead and re-swatch some of those other colors on my arm. That way we had at least a tiny bit more of a straighter line. Okay, so there is You Know the Drill. Here's Let Me Explain. On ColourPop's site, they described this one as a metallic ivory. This looks so pretty. This is like my perfect inner corner shade. Ooh, let's see how it swatches. That one almost has like the slightest bit of like a duochrome effect. Like one side looks more like a true ivory, but then you shift it and it kind of has more of like a pale white gold. Here we have another matte shade. This one's called Note to Self, and it's kind of like a matte, warm, do you say caramel or caramel? Ooh, that one looks very, very nice. Okay, this is gonna be the final one that I swatch in this row. Oh, that's so pretty. That's like the perfect crease color. I know I've said this about like every warm color, but you guys know I love me like a good matte, warm transition color. Like this is more to like deepen up your crease. That is so pretty. The shade BELAIR, it's another matte shadow. It looks like a cooler brown. This one looks like there's a bit of taupe in it as well. And we have the shade Made to Last. This looks like another cooler tone shade. Ooh, that has like a slight bit of like a really pale purple to it. Do you guys see that? Like a really pale, like not plum. What kind of purple would you say? I feel like this is brown, but then this is more of like a taupey purple brown. Then we have the color Paper Tiger. This definitely reminds me more of like a camel than a tiger, but we'll go with it. Another matte. Ooh, this one feels good. Let's go ahead and swatch this guy right here. Yes, please. That's like the perfect camel-y color. Then we have the color Popular Demand. This looks like a really nice matte kind of warm red or like chestnut brown. Yes. Colors like this, I love to just blow out from my lid all the way up to my crease. Like if you just really take time to blend it, that's beautiful. I love that. Looks like we have another one of those chestnutty type of browns. This one is called Top Notch. Ooh, those look nice together. This one on the top looks like there's a slight bit more red. This is matte, but I feel like there's a subtle, well no, maybe not, maybe it's just the camera. But I guess this is just more richly matte. This one almost looks like it has a slight sheen to it compared to this. Moving on to kind of a corally pinky type of matte. This one is called Wait For It. If you're into like peach shadows, that would be really good. Ooh, me gusta. Then we have the shade Making Moves. This kind of looks like the pinkier, peachier sister of that last one. These are swatching so nicely. I found like in some of my other palettes, sometimes these type of matte, like any type of shadow that has a bit of like red or pink to it, they tend to be patchy. These went on so smooth. I want to do a tutorial with these. Then we have this gorgeous metallic peach. This one is called Come and Get It. Wait a second. It seems like the ones that go together kind of like the names match. Like there was Wait For It, Make a Move, Come and Get It. Cute. Ooh, that would make such a pretty look. I think this is one of my favorite metallics so far, besides High Strung, which is what I have on my lids right now. And I have the shade Save It for Later. This is kind of the last lighter shade. Everything else is kind of like deeper and smokier. Ooh, that's nice. I wasn't sure because when I first dipped my finger in it compared to some of the other metallics in the pan, it didn't feel quite as creamy, but that did swatch nicely. This one here is called Silver Lining. It's kind of like a grayish type of purple. If you're into smoky eyes, I think that would be really pretty. That's another color you could use like from your lid all the way up to your crease. We have the color Take the Lead. This one feels so soft. This is kind of like a taupey gray color. Let's see if we could build up that pigmentation a bit. So there's like just the true single swatch, but I just want to see what it looks like if we went in deeper. I didn't want to get these shadows and be like scrubbing them back and forth because I don't feel like that's like a true honest swatch. Just like one swipe I feel like gives you a good enough idea, but obviously you could go in with a brush and like continuously build it up. Then we have the color Cloud 9. That's really nice. It's like a rich blackened plum brown. I feel like that's the perfect way to describe it. The shadow is called Goody Two Shoes. Whenever I opened the package, this one caught my eye right away, so I'm really excited to see what this one looks like. Oh, that's like a really metallic charcoal. That is so pretty. That is so pretty. That's really making me want to bust out some cool toned looks. Okay, we're down to the final 3 shades. This one is called Backseat. If you're a teal or blue person, I think you're gonna like this one. So there is Backseat. This one here is called Piece of Cake, and it's just a This one here is called Piece of Cake, and it's just a rich, vibrant matte blue. I'll be curious to see how that one performs on the eyes. The very final shadow I have here is called Lost and Found. This looks like a lighter matte blue. I wonder if the blues are kind of like the reds where they don't swatch quite as nicely as they apply. To play with some of those and test them out on the eyes and let you guys know. But for my brow bone color, this one stood out, which is called Hear Me Out. It's a nice matte bone shade. For my brush, I'm going to be using the Sigma E50, which is just this large shader. And I'm going to, actually, you know what? I think I'm just going to apply this all over, kind of as a base for everything else to blend out. And there is Howard whimpering because he can't get in because the lights are everywhere. So far so good. I'm not really noticing too much kick up when I dip my brush in here. It may be different with a fluffy brush. Sometimes with matte shadows, like in all brands, Makeup Geek, Anastasia, I'll notice, not that those are the only shadows, that's just what kind of came to my mind first. Wow, the contrast right now. I'll notice a little bit of kick up when I go in with like a really dense or fluffy brush. Okay, whenever I put the brush in here, you are seeing a little bit more kick up, but like I said, it's nothing different than some of like my Anastasia shadows or Makeup Geek ones. Ooh, this is a super nice crease color too. You could definitely go in heavier handed if you wanted like more pigmentation right off the bat, but I want to go in a little bit lighter first and then build it up. Yes, please. That's like the perfect crease color. Blendability of this shadow is spot on. It's just blending right in, no problem. Cranberry tone shade here. Looks beautiful. Kind of reminds me of a less red version of Makeup Geek's Bitten. So the brush that I'm using now is the Morphe M513. I'm just going to concentrate this right here on the outer corner and slowly start to buff it in, not really picking up any more product on the brush. Oh, yes, please. I'm really impressed with these matte shades so far. To deepen up the outer corner even more, I'm gonna go in with the deepest shade in the palette, and this is the Makeup Geek Defined Crease Brush. I love this. Just a nice tiny little brush, especially if you have hooded eyes like myself. Oh, I'm not gonna lie, I thought this color was gonna be a little bit deeper. It's definitely super pigmented, but those two shades on the eyes look pretty similar. I just wanted this one to be a bit richer. Then for my lid shade, I'm going to go into this shade here, which I think is totally going to be the star of the show. And I think I'm just going to apply it with my finger, just because sometimes some of these like really soft metallic, to the touch, it kind of feels a little bit like the Makeup Geek foiled shadows. But sometimes I think these just apply really nicely with your finger. They just glide right on. Oh, hot damn. This is my jam. The color is beautiful. ColourPop did really good like choosing what colors to make like pre-made palettes out of. They did that really nice warm toned palette, and then they did this like rich like mauve-y purple. I am seriously loving this shade. Oh, that looks so nice with those other two colors. Same thing, I'm just taking my finger and patting it right onto the eyelid. My lower lash line, I'm going to go in with some of ColourPop Mr. Bing. I love this liner. I'm just going to place it and then kind of smudge it out a bit. And then I think we'll go back on top with a pencil brush. Today is definitely going to have to be brush washing day. I have like no clean brushes. I'm going to go back in and mix just both of these shades and smudge it right on top. I'm gonna concentrate this more just on the outer corner and then go in with something lighter on the inner portion. I went ahead and popped on some of these Salon Perfect 615s. These are currently my favorite lashes. As you could tell from the tutorial, the shadows blended in super nicely. This is actually about 2 hours since filming the tutorial. I forgot to do the outro. All right, so that is it for the swatches and tutorial. I really hope you guys enjoyed and found this video helpful. If you did, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. Let me know which shadows you have in your cart, or if you're just window shopping, which ones you have on your wish list. I really think a lot of you guys will be incredibly happy with these. I'm excited to have more shadows in my collection. Not that I really need them, but when it comes to single shadows, I always gravitate to just my Makeup Geek shadows. But after swatching a lot of these mattes, I'm thinking I'm gonna be getting a ton of use out of them. But let me know what kind of tutorials you guys would like to see next, like a full actual tutorial, not just like a snippet. If you guys wanna see like a cool toned look, a warm tone look, let me know. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.